Hello everyone, I'm Tars48 back at you again. Aviation Podcast episode number 2. As usual, Husky Gaming 365 is with me.
Hello everyone.
Today's topic of conversation, and apologies for not having one 2 weeks ago, and it was just better not to have one last week because of the holidays. Hope everyone had a great holiday season. Happy 2019. Anyway, today's topic of conversation is the passenger version of the 747-800. How long is it going to last? And last but not least, the A220 has been spotted on flight radar by by Husky, and then he told me, and I've seen it. Alright. First topic, 747-8I Intercontinental passenger version. There is a very real chance now that Boeing will probably pull the plug on it. Unfortunately, it's not selling as they had hoped. Obviously, it doesn't help that Delta and United said we're done with the 747 and retired all theirs and have no plans to go back because of the Dreamliner. And Lufthansa and Royal Dutch Airlines, or more commonly known as KLM, are the only two airlines flying them.
And actually, Delta has really no intentions on operating a Dreamliner. They're too busy being focused on the A330neo, or not the not the A330. No, wait, yeah, it is the A330neo. The 900 is, I think, what they're trying to get, or maybe it's the 800.
Unfortunately, nowadays market, 2 engines can go as far as 4. So there's really, I can see why airlines aren't wanting the 747, and Boeing's not going to discontinue it in its entirety. I mean, the 747 is Boeing's baby. They're at least going to keep the freighters around.
And you see, the reason why 747 really no one wants to fly anymore is with the fact that it already doesn't help that operating costs and fuel costs are on the increase. With a 4-engine aircraft, it makes all of that much worse. Operating costs twice as much as what it would for a twin-engine aircraft. Fuel costs are twice as much as they are with a twin-engine, and that's why really no one wants to pay extra to operate extra engines on an airplane. It's not worth it. That's how a lot of planes end up having to call for bankruptcy and then run out of business because they're having to pay insane amounts just to operate and fuel their aircraft.
I mean, look at Qantas and British Airways. They're flying 747-400, some of them as old as we are. You know, we're in our 20s, but some of the 747-400s are as old as we are. Some of them may be a little bit older. They're tanks. They last forever, but that's because they're able to find parts for them still. Heck, I bet you they can call Boeing and Boeing will build them a part and send it to them. But, you know what? It's life. And if it wasn't for the 747, there would be no 787 or 777, or there would be no twin-aisle wide-body aircraft. The 747 started that. Husky, anything else on that?
Well, I have to say, the 747 is gone, and now that the 787 is the planned replacement, well, not really the planned replacement, but one of the replacements of it, I have to say, the 787 is a beautiful aircraft. You definitely can't go wrong with a 787. Unfortunately, because of the fact that my airport that operates near me, because they aren't a really big airport and really doesn't have actual international flights except for one, it's unfortunate that I don't get to really see a Dreamliner up close and personal. But the 747 was a great aircraft.
It started this big wide-body generation of airplanes, and it's done good for them. It's kind of the face of Boeing. If someone brings up Boeing, most people, the first airplane that's going to come to mind is a 747. Or if you say 747, most people are going to be like, Boeing. It registers with a lot of people. Alright, next and final topic of discussion. This is probably going to be a short podcast. The A220 is flying.
Oh, yeah.
Husky has spotted it on flight radar. I've gone in and filtered it. It's still listed as the CS100 in flight radar's filter system, but there are 2 of them flying. Just saw something on YouTube not that long ago that more are entering service. So for those of us who aren't getting it like the 2 of us yet, we're just gonna have to be patient. It's gonna take a long time for them to get them out on routes and whatnot, because they have to train. It's a new airplane. They've got to train flight crews and whatnot on them. Maintenance has to learn the airplane. Delta's got to make sure, confer with Airbus that everything's how Delta wants it.
Yep.
And then we'll start seeing more of them, but they are flying now.
Oh yeah, it's nice to see the Delta, or just Delta, but it's nice to see the Airbus A220 finally take flight in the United States. I have waited long enough for this moment. Now it's finally coming. I have to say, it is exciting, and hopefully one day, Lambert, which is the airport in my area, city, Lambert will be able to have its first A220 landing there. That'd be fantastic. I want that day to come. I don't know if it will though, but I want it to. I'm hoping it will. It's gonna be real nice seeing an A220 landing at the local airport.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, Bombardier started it. They ran into some problems, and obviously, when it first came out, they weren't selling like they were hoping. So obviously, then there's the whole predatory pricing. They sold them for much less than they were building them. A certain someone got mad, tried to get a tariff placed on it, and Airbus stepped in and was like, wait a minute. If you give us majority rights to the airplane, we can build them at our factory in the States. And now they're flying.
Yep, and
it's been a long time coming.
Oh yeah, it was the A220 from Delta was expected to start flying in like mid to late last year, and it ended up getting pushed out, which was really unfortunate here. Now that the New Year's here, 2019 is in full swing, and now that Delta is finally sent their A220s out to do flights, I have to say it is an absolute. It's great. Good on Delta.
Beautiful airplane, as you can see by the picture on the screen right now. Gorgeous airplane.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful aircraft.
And that same video is saying that they've actually have coach seating inside, which is unusual for a short medium range single aisle 75 to 100 seat airplane. It's not common to have coach seating in an airplane in this airplane's field of work. So it's even it's got a little more comfort to it. And I've also heard from that same video that the luggage compartments, the overhead bins are bigger. You'll be able to fit bigger bags in them. So overall, it's a good airplane. I think it's going to serve them well.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely.
I would love to, and it may not happen, but I'd love to see what American thinks of it. If American would consider them. So I know some of their MD-80 routes are being replaced by 737s, but I'd love to see one in American colors one day.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
That would be so beautiful.
Oh yeah, the American Eagle livery looks good on just about any aircraft. I don't care what anybody says. It looks great on an E175. It looks great on an Airbus. It even if American did it, it even looks good. It looks fantastic. It even looks great on an MD-83. It looks amazing. You can't go wrong with that
Yeah,
battleship
but
gray.
they never really did repaint their MD-80s.
Yeah, and unfortunately,
They're gonna be. But you know what? 363 days from now, the MD-80 may not even be a thing here in North America.
no.
There is a very real chance that in 363 days, the MD-80 is going to be obsolete completely. It'll be a thing of the past. But we discussed that in the first podcast.
Yeah, and I have to say it's not a bad aircraft at all. Um the A220, I think, fantastic looking plane. Um, it's
Super
um
modern.
super modern, runs great, quiet. It's got quiet running engine. It's powered by the Pratt and Whitney PW 1100G, which is what Bombardier has chosen to run the aircraft, and it looks great. I'm actually looking at a picture of it right now online, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I have to say,
And
good
this
on
may only
Bombardier.
be something that the Delta ones have, but that same video was also saying where I guess the airplane's got something in it where it can avoid the heavy turbulence. It searches for where the heavy turbulence is, and it will fly around it.
Oh
It,
yeah,
it will fly around the turbulence, and even some of that really bumpy clear air turbulence you get, it
oh yeah,
knows where that stuff is and will try its hardest to avoid it.
oh
And
yeah.
most airplanes don't do that.
No, most airplanes are stuck having to deal with that because, well, there's not really any systems like that built into an aircraft like this. So you're stuck being thrown and shook around and thrown about while you're dealing with the severe turbulence. But it's nice to know that Bombardier, or no, who isn't, well, now it's Airbus, but it's nice to know that these two have came up with a system to avoid
Try and
having to.
avoid the hardcore turbulence, the stuff that would keep the flight attendants in their seat and freak a lot of people. I mean, I've flown around a thunderstorm, so I know what it's like for an airplane to get beat up. Be
And
beat and bounced around.
a lot of people might find that scary, but the pilots are used to it. The plane is built; it's built to take it.
Yeah. And if
It's
flying through turbulence, the wing's gonna bounce. That's
oh yeah,
nothing to be scared of. The wing's gonna hop and bounce around, and they're designed to.
hmm
They're designed to bounce like a trampoline.
oh yeah. Those wings are built to take far more abuse than what they're built for.
It takes a lot more than what you see during turbulence to even stress fracture those wings.
I don't know. It would have to fly through a hurricane.
It
For
would
those,
take,
right.
unless you're the Hurricane Hunter airplanes, it would take a hurricane to rip the wings off of any civilian airplane.
Oh yeah.
So if you're flying in turbulence and you look out the window and see that wing bouncing, it's nothing to be scared of. It's natural. It's gonna happen.
hmm
And obviously, when they design these airplanes, they build little models of and put it in wind tunnels, and they test that kind of stuff, and they can be like, okay, this wing's bouncing too much as it is. We need to go in and change something, and they do that, until they find what they like. They find that, okay, it's bouncing, but this isn't doing any damage to the wing or the airplane.
Nope.
And they spec the wings to be built like that on all the airplanes. And another thing is, this is a new airplane for Airbus. They've got a new airplane in their lineup that wasn't designed by them. That's another airplane for Airbus and airlines to look at. Obviously, Swiss and who else was it? It was Swiss and another European airline were the first to actually fly them. Put the CS100 or A220 into service, but Delta is the first North American airline to fly them.
Oh, yes, and I have to say, it is absolutely fantastic. It would be nice to know how some people feel or how some people have had first reactions when getting on an A220 for the first time. It would be nice to know if there's anyone out there who has experienced the flight in an A220. Tell us. Feel free to tell us about it, because that'd be great. I want to know what it's like flying in an A220. I probably won't get the opportunity to do it, but if I do, awesome, great. And if not, well, it's nice to at least see it flying around, and I'm happy about it. Thank
And if you look at the flight deck of one compared to the NB80, there is literally a night and day difference. I mean, the dashboard itself, the front is minus the autopilot buttons and whatnot. It's all screen.
Oh yeah.
Whereas you look at an NB80, glass cockpit. Whereas you look at the NB80, it's all steam gauges and old click wheels and multi-positional toggle switches for the landing lights.
Oh yeah, it's clunky. The dials are all old and slow. Loud.
It's minus the FMC screen.
Mm-hmm.
The NB80 flight deck is mostly switches, click wheels, and old-fashioned gauges, needle gauges.
And clunky and hard to deal with controls.
There was no electronic assistance back then.
Oh no.
They didn't have hydraulic. They had hydraulics, but there was no hydraulic assistance in the NB80 that I'm aware of. Big, fat, heavy column that you had to pull and push. Whereas this, it's like for those who play Flight Sim or X-Wing, Airbuses have little joysticks. But the computer helps the pilot, so the pilot didn't have to put as much muscle. And, the pilot can use very little movement to control the airplane.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And I have to say, congrats to Delta on the new
Yes, congrats to Delta on the new member of the family. I hope it serves them well.
Oh yeah, I hope it does too. I hope it does the job of moving passengers around for smaller demand airports.
And congrats to Airbus and Bombardier on agreeing on how to get this thing built and into service for Delta. I know it was not easy for a lot of people to deal with the fact that this airplane was delayed and delayed and delayed again. I hope it does well, and hopefully we all get the chance to see it one day.
That would be nice. It would be an honor to be able to see one.
It'd be an honor to fly on one day. Just to have the luxury of saying, I flew on an A220. I flew on the newest member of Delta's family. It's like, I have, not very many people have the opportunity to say they've flown on an A380 or a 747. I'm the person that can say, hey, look, I got to fly on the two biggest passenger airplanes in the world. It just happens that I got to fly on one, and, well, that's But unfortunately, not a lot of people can say, I've flown on a big airplane. Most people, the biggest airplane they've probably flown on is an A320 or
Oh yeah.
73. And with where today's world is, most people don't want to fly international.
No, because of the fact of how long it takes to get there, how much crap you have to get through just to get through.
It's expensive to fly international.
Mm-hmm. All the precautions, the risks that you have to take.
All the risks involved going international to a different country, because they don't allow certain things that we allow.
Mm-hmm. Then it takes an insane amount of time just trying to get through immigration screening.
Yeah, and you have to make sure you have all your proper documentation that proves. It's a lot to fly international, and unfortunately, it's too much for some people.
Yeah.
But
like we said, congrats to Delta. We hope it does you well.
Yes,
Life.
good luck, Delta. Good luck, Airbus, with the new airplane.
Yeah, but if anybody's wondering here, I have a list of some really cool specs of the A220 here. Looks like
If you want to, you could always put it in the comment section, and I can pin it instead of reading it off.
Well, I mean, this is pretty interesting stuff. I mean, so it looks like the passenger count is 108 to 133, which is really really nice. 130 passengers. You can't fill a seven. You can't do that with a 777-900. I mean, you can, but the 777-900 can be able to carry so many passengers, which is why Delta said, "Yeah, we like the 777-900, but it ain't gonna work. It's not cutting it." And there's a reason why they chose to do this, because airplane seats cost money to fill up, and if you're not filling up all your airplane seats, that normally causes airlines to lose money.
And
you gotta make money. You gotta spend money to make money.
Delta has nothing against Boeing at all. They fly Boeing airplanes. They have a lot of them. But the market that the A220 flies in, the 7.3 was just too big. It wasn't worth it.
No, Delta wanted something that was going to be able to meet their passenger demands for short haul flights, which is why they went to Bombardier for the C series. And they made a good choice. It's such a good looking plane. It really is, both inside and out. It really is. It's a fantastic plane. It's it's a great plane. I have to say it really is. So and get this thing can fly at a service ceiling of 41,000 feet.
That's how big. That's how high up that Singapore to Newark flight flies, and that's in a way bigger airplane.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. The A220-100 has a maximum range of 2,950 nautical miles.
That's insane for an airplane of its size.
Oh yeah, it's not bad at all. And it looks like it has the same engines that the A320 and the A321 operate, because it has the Pratt and Whitney PW 1100 series engines powered by the 1500G, which is still part of Pratt and Whitney's Pure Power family. Which means whenever you hear it take off, you hear the one thing that most airplane engines do have, which is a buzz. This one doesn't even have it.
And
no buzz.
For those who are kind of, what on earth? Why are these engines buzzing? it's just the tip of the fan blades going faster than the speed of sound, and when you get 15 or 20 fan blades popping the sound barrier like that, it's gonna make a buzzing sound. That's all it is.
And actually, really, the engines that are on planes now have way more fan blades. See, the one I'm looking at in this, let's see, because the one I'm looking at in this picture here, let me see, because I'm actually curious.
For those worried about what, the engines doing, what happens if the engine fails. When they when they design and build these engines, they test them. They intentionally, they put explosive charges on a fan blade and make it blow up and see what happens. Make sure that the outer shell of the engine, so that blue part with the silver ring, they make sure that if a fan blade blows up, if the engine destroys itself inside and the fan blades explode or whatnot, they test to make sure that the outer shell is going to contain that. So that way, no one gets hurt. A contained engine failure is their goal.
Oh, yeah.
And jet engines are a lot safer nowadays than they probably were when they first came out. They're nowhere near as loud.
No, not with today's technology.
Today's technology, and a lot of that comes in the fact that there's ways of, they've got technology that helps built into the cabin to help keep engine and outside noise at a low, so it won't be as loud when you're flying, be more relaxing. I mean, if it wasn't for RGB lights, there would be no mood lighting in an airplane where they can set the lights to like a deep purple.
Oh yeah.
The technology nowadays is amazing. How noise proof they can make and how much noise an airplane can keep out.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're going on 30 minutes here.
Oof.
So much for a short podcast, guys and ladies.
Oh, before we go, I want to congratulate All Nippon Airways for the inaugural service to Hawaii.
On an A380, I might add.
A380s. They're doing service to Hawaii, and I hope it does ANA quite well, and I hope they enjoy those A380s. I do have to say,
if I'm remembering correctly, those are the first A380s they've bought, right?
Yeah, I think they've bought 3 of them.
Those are the first 3 Supers they've ever owned.
Oh yeah, and all 3 are to be set for Hawaii. They're making different flights from Hawaii.
And I think they're actually all 3 in like a special livery.
Oh, yeah.
Have like a Hawaiian themed livery to them.
Yep, and each one has a different name, and each one is colored differently to represent a different reason as well, which is actually fantastic. So, good work, All Nippon. Good work.
All right, that's gonna do it for this one. We will see you in the next one. Like I said, apologies for not having one 2 weeks ago, and last week it was just better not to worry about one. Holidays and whatnot. Happy New Year. Let's make 2019 a great year, and we hope to continue these episodes. Thanks for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Leave your opinions in the comment section down below. We'll try our best to reply to them. See you next time.